Wonderful. We can go ahead and get started with our online event. Welcome everyone to our astrocartography event. We're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. If you're just rolling in, we would love to hear some introductions from yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from and what your sun sign is, since we're talking about astrocartography today. My name is Christina. I'm calling in from the US at the moment. I just got back from about 4 months in Central America. My sun sign is Libra. Natalie, how about you? Where are you calling in from and what's your sun sign?
I am calling in from Lisbon, Portugal. So if anybody is here, say hello for sure. And my sun sign is Sagittarius.
Nice. That's my moon sign. So
and my moon sign's Libra. So
we got a lot going on.
We do. That's why you like to travel. Moon and Sag for sure.
Definitely. And welcome everyone to our online event. If you're just now rolling in, we're going to drop some short introductions in the chat. Just let us know where you're calling in from and also what your sun sign is. And we have a lot of great information to share today. We are recording this event, so we will share a copy of it afterwards. So if you missed anything, don't worry. I'm also going to share really quickly a couple of helpful links in the chat. Make sure also when you're doing your introduction in the chat, you are messaging everyone so people can see. I see LA, Chicago, New York. Awesome. And the two links that I just dropped there, they are from Natalie, and we're going to be using them as we go through our workshop today. So keep them handy. Oh, nice, Stephanie, Panama. I just came from Panama. I was there for a month in Bocas del Toro and had an amazing time. Welcome everyone. If you're just now joining us, we're about to get started. Go ahead, drop a short introduction in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from and what your sun sign is. Oh, nice. We have Amsterdam as well. Montreal. Everyone seems to be going to Montreal at the moment. I don't know if you feel the same way, Natalie, on kind of like the nomad circuit, but it keeps coming up for me.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about it too. I haven't been yet, but it's definitely been popping up here and there with some people going.
Absolutely. Nice Capricorn and Aquarius. Interesting combo.
Wow. Travel for sure.
My rising sign is Capricorn.
You're Capricorn rising. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So I try and get some things done.
Yes. I remember.
Well, I think, Natalie, we can go ahead and get started. I'll just do a very brief introduction. Again, my name is Christina. I work for Outsite. Outsite offers beautiful places to stay for remote workers around the world. We have over 50 different destinations to choose from. And that's really exciting because when you start to see your own map today with astrocartography, you can kind of see where your lines are going through, see if there's any Outsite locations. And Natalie is going to explain a lot about what the different lines mean for when you're traveling. So very exciting. I'm a nomad myself for the last 3.5 years. I've most recently spent some time in Central America and probably about to head over to Europe. So maybe see some of you on the road. All right, Natalie, why don't you give us an introduction as well?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Christina. And hi, everyone. My name is Natalie. I'm a meditation teacher, mindfulness coach. I'm also an astrocartography reader. I've been a nomad for about 6 years now. So I've been traveling and living in a bunch of different countries. And I really have found that astrocartography has really helped me in a sense, and not just helping me with travel, but also helping me in looking back at places I have lived and giving me a lot of insights and realizations. There is so much to cover today. I'm trying to cram everything into 1 hour, which is very close to impossible, but we're going to try. And with that being said, I am going to go ahead and share my screen right now. And I am based in Lisbon, Portugal. So if anybody is here, definitely say hi. And yeah, let's go ahead and begin. All right, so astrocartography, traveling for your sign. We travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us. I always like to have a little quote when we start, because yeah, this is setting our intention. And I'm sure everybody here does like to travel, or maybe you are looking to relocate or become a nomad, or just, live in a new country. So with all of the events, I like to start just by getting grounded. So let's go ahead and just take a second to tune into this present moment, and let's just close down our eyes, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths together. So let's go ahead, close down the eyes and relax the face and shoulders. And we're going to begin by taking a nice big inhale through the nose, holding it at the top. And long exhale, let it go. Nice deep cleansing breath. Let's do this 2 more times. In through the nose, filling your whole belly up with air. And then as you exhale, just release anything from this day, anything that's not serving you anymore. And then 1 more big deep breath in through the nose, holding it at the top. And exhale, let it go, relaxing the cheeks, the face, maybe the jaw. And then together, we'll slowly blink open our eyes, just coming back into this moment. Hello, hello. Thank you all again for joining me. Before we get started, there is so much information we are going to be covering. Take it all with a grain of salt. Take what resonates with you, discard the rest, and we'll go from there. And I'm here to answer any questions, and we'll open it up at the end for questions too. Just a few important pieces of information. You must have your exact time of birth. This is very, very important. Also, planets do affect people based on their placements within the chart. That is a whole other conversation, but we're going to go over a lot of this today. Not everyone enjoys the same energy, place, or experience, so just keep that in mind. The best way to learn is to explore your own chart. Keep learning, keep studying, keep reading about it. This is the best way to learn. And always take what resonates and discard the rest. So if something I say is not totally ringing true for you, just, put it aside, table it. And always just use your intuition. Use your intuition when relocating or when traveling. We hold the answers in our bodies. And even when I work with clients, I do teach clients of how to tune into the energy of a place without even having to be there. And then most importantly, have fun. And we are going to pull up this cafeastrology.com first. We are going to have it, or if you just want to pull up both of these websites, Christina went ahead and put them both in the in the chat. So go ahead and pull them up, because we are going to reference both of them. We are going to start with Cafe Astrology. I also just wanted to say that astrology has been around for a very, 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 very long time. It's been around for thousands of years. It goes in and out of popularity with, every single year. I think right now we're kind of going into the height of its popularity, but very well-renowned people have used astrology. Many, I would say most of the leaders in the world today also have astrologers. In fact, just like a few examples, like Sir Isaac Newton, he is a famous physicist. He discovered the law of gravity. He was also a very famous astrologer. Ben Franklin used astrology when signing the Declaration of Independence. So these are just like a few examples of how it's just being used over time. What exactly is astrocartography? Astrocartography is also called locational astrology. And this takes your astrological birth chart based on the time, date, and place of your birth and overlays it with a map of the Earth. So astro means relating to the stars, celestial objects, and outer space. And cartography is chart writing or map making. So that is literally what we're doing today. And this is also determined by looking at the 4 angles of your birth chart. We are going to go into this, so if this sounds confusing, don't worry. It's your ascendant, descendant, midheaven, and the IC, and how they correspond to certain places on Earth. And any planet close to the 4 angles of your birth chart will affect you, your travel in a stronger way. And just to reiterate, you must know the exact time, place, and date you were born. So I made this little key because when we pull up astro.com, it doesn't exactly say sun, moon, Mercury, etc. It has these little keys or these little symbols. So feel free to take a screenshot, but I always just like to share that this is what the planets look like. And I'm also going to have the keys in our presentation as we keep moving on. Okay, so just a quick overview. There's elements, signs, and polarities. Before we dive into our astrocartography map, it's very important to at least have some sort of background about the astrological signs. So there's 4 different elements. We have air, fire, earth, and water. And 2 of them are masculine, which just means very active, and 2 are feminine, which means receptive and going within. So the 2 masculine placements of air and fire are actually, so air is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So Gemini's, Libra, Aquarius, this is more about communication ideas and your intellectual expression. Fire signs of Aries, Leo, and Sag, this is action and will and physical movement. And this is very, very brief that we can go very deep into these as well. But this is just a quick overview. Earth signs, grounded, practical, deals with the material realm. That's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Water signs, they're more emotional, intuitive, deeply creative, and sensitive, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So quick little overview, and you are more than likely going to have multiple sign placements in your chart. We're more than our sun sign. We're affected by it all. So before we dive into the first part of our astrocartography map, see if you can pull up astro.cafeastrology.com and go to the natal chart. So it's the link that Christina shared. So if you put all of your birth information in, it should show up, and here's mine. It should look like this. You should have your sun, moon, all the planets, all the way down to the north node. Then you should also have your house placements. And I like to use this as an example through the presentation. It's just a little bit easier to follow than this giant circle. And then you're going to see under your house placements, you also have the planets in specific houses as well. So just to go over, we have the first part of the planets, we have the houses, and then we have the houses that the planets are in. And the things that we are going to be really looking into today is the 4th house and the 9th house. Now, I'm going to preface by also saying this. Our sun, moon, and descendant also plays a huge role in where we will feel comfortable in our home environment, why we might foreign travel. So sun, moon, and ascendant, keep that in mind, give it a little star, write down what your sun, moon, and ascendant is as well. We're not really diving into that part of your chart today. We're going to be going over the 4th house and 9th house. But just keep that in the back of your mind for when you are going into your own chart. All right, so we're gonna keep moving. So a lot of information. I'm sorry if I'm speaking fast, but I will promise I will open this up for questions. So the first part we are going to look at is this 4th house. So my 4th house is in Aries. So if you pull up your little chart, everyone should see their 4th house. 4th house is also your IC. So if you see this like little circle here, my 4th house, and you see that IC sign, IC equals 4th house. So just keep that in mind. IC equals 4th house. Our 4th house placement, 4th house rules Cancer, it's a Cancer sign. It rules the moon, and that's our home environment. Our IC is our roots, our ancestral lineage. Origins, home, family, security, belonging, feeling grounded. It's really our environment. So by the placement of your 4th house, and you also may have planets in your 4th house. So if you can see, when I scroll all the way down here, my north node is also in my 4th house. You might not have any planets. You might just have one sign in your 4th house, and that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and write down your 4th house. The 4th house is important because the 4th house can tell us where we feel comfortable in a home environment, where we might foreign travel, not really foreign travel, where we might relocate to, how often do we travel. So go ahead and look at your 4th house and give you a few examples. My 4th house is in Aries. Aries in the 4th house means I tend to move abruptly. I like action. I like to live in dry heat near volcanoes. And I have lived in LA, Bali, and Chile. I'm really sorry, there's a baby crying. I guess, so we're gonna block that out. And I have lived in Los Angeles, Bali, and Chile. Very more, I would say, dry places to live. Well, Bali is volcanoes. Chile is close by a volcano, but LA and Chile are more dry. Now, I also have my 4th house in the north node. Very sorry for the baby. The north node, this is interesting because it means I need to live at least 200 miles away from home. I must relocate to different locations. These moves will have a change in my career and my life, how I will grow and transform. And I must learn to merge my career and my home. And I have lived in 5 different states, and I've lived in 4, now about 5 different countries. So this is just a quick overview of what this means. Now, the fun part of the fourth house, I share here what every sign and planet means. So go ahead and take a look at your 4th house, see what's in your 4th house. And I would love to hear, does anyone want to drop in the chat what placements, what either their planet or their astrological sign is in the 4th house. Go ahead and drop it in. I would love to. I can't find the 4th house. Where do I find it? So I'm going to quickly go back. When you pull up the Astro Cafe astrology map, and you see this here, you see the 4th house. It's right under in your house placement. So I have Aries in my 4th house. I also go ahead and look at the signs, and I have North Node in my 4th house. So go ahead and take a look at your 4th house, and this is going to tell you about your home environment. And again, we're complex human beings. We kind of like different energies. So our sun, our moon, and ascendant is all very important. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Thank you, Christina, for dropping that in the chat again. So we have Aries, we have Aries and Mars, which we already went over, Taurus and Venus. I'm not going to read through all of these because we also have to talk about the 9th house. Gemini and Mercury, this is a little bit more movement in your home environment. But go ahead and just take a look, take a screenshot. Leslie, none of those come up for me. Leslie, what do you have in your 4th house? Everybody should have an astrological sign in your 4th house. You might not have a planet in your 4th house, but you should definitely have an astrological sign. Again, when you go to the link that Christina dropped in and you put in all your information, it should have all of your house placements, and there should be a sign in the 4th house. Okay, so we're going to keep moving to the next one. Cancer and Moon, Leo and Sun, Virgo and Mercury, and Libra and Venus. So go ahead and just take a quick look. Cancers and Moon, this is more living near home, near water, your heritage. Leo and the Sun, pride in the home, sunshine, beaches, warmth, tropical volcanic islands. It even rules cats, having a solid family home life. Virgo and Mercury, this sign actually moves around more than the other earth signs. So city, but near nature, very flexible, farmers markets, vegetable gardens, i.e. routine, being tidy in the home. Libra and Venus, it's the least air sign to move. It doesn't mean you can't move, but it's more of the least out of the other two. It has to do with beauty, tranquility, and peace in the home, partnership, Zen gardens and stillness, or it can even represent living with somebody or moving for somebody. Moving on to Scorpio and Pluto. This more likely to live alone, then you might not be likely to move, and then all of a sudden it happens all at once, a very transformative, intense experience. If your house is in Pluto, that will move like a little bit more colder versus just Scorpio. Deep color, sensual imagery. Sag and Jupiter, if you have Sag or Jupiter in your 4th house and also your moon, we can also put our moon into this as well. That means you can possibly live in a foreign country at least once in your lifetime if you have strong Sagittarius placement. Sag is probably the most traveled sign of the zodiac. So large, expansive surroundings, adventure, untamed wilderness, not so big on cities. Capricorn or Saturn, this is more about being in your roots. It does rule mountains or skyscrapers. I'd like to think of like cities or the business district, and having a mortgage, solid foundation. And again, you can have a total mix of all of these energies, sun, moon, and rising, but very strong in your 4th house placements. And then going on to, and I can go back to any of this at the end too. So if I'm skipping over this pretty quickly, we'll definitely hop back into it. Aquarius, Uranus moves around a lot. This is another placement where you might be jumping homes a lot as a kid or later in life. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're moving different countries a lot, which it totally can mean that, but it means you might be moving homes a lot. It can also represent being a nomad, unusual, having detachment in the homes, splitting time between places. Pisces and Neptune, your home is your sanctuary, your escape. It's very important to be near a spiritual community. It does rule water, so being around any water, but just to be mindful of any lack of boundaries in the home, especially the home environment when you're younger with any parents, siblings, or caretakers. And then the North Node that we had talked about, South Node, not really advisable to live near your hometown. That's me. I live abroad, not really close by my family. It does have to do with huge transformations from relocating or a change in the career sector as well. So definitely just wanted to quickly share all of this with you, but we are also going to be focusing on foreign travel. Does everyone have their 4th house now? Does anybody need any extra help with pulling it up in your chart? Feel free to drop it in the chat. Happy to help in that way. Okay, so now that we wrote down, oh, I can't get, okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and reshare the signs. So right now, for those who are just joining, we are, Oh, I just had some confetti go off. That's nice. So we're using Astro Cafe, or if there's any astrology link that you like to use, I do use the Placidus system to go over this. Where just if you have like a little chart or anything to write down your sun, moon, and rising, write down your 4th house and your 9th house. So those are the main places that we're going to go over. 4th house, write down your astrological sign and any planetary placements, and same with the 9th house. Because those are the 2 houses that do relate more to your home environment and foreign travel. Julie, you're so welcome. Pisces, but no planets, and that's okay. Some people don't have planets in certain houses, so that's totally okay. You can also look at your moon, your rising, and your sun to see how that resonates with you. Awesome. Okay, we're going to go on to the 9th house. I'm making sure we are okay with time. Perfect. The 9th house has to do with long distance travel. It rules Sagittarius and Jupiter rule this placement, and it's long distance, it's values, ethics, foreign travel, why you end up traveling, and any big moves. So going back to your chart, looking at your 9th house, just to give you a few examples, my 9th house is in Virgo, and that's ruled by Mercury. So that rules studying or beliefs about cultures. I need to live in alignment with my spiritual beliefs. Very true. I'm a mindfulness teacher. That's why I travel. Taking a course in healing certification. I did my yoga teacher training in Colombia and in Bali. And also just being organized when I travel would definitely help me more, having lists. While I am very spontaneous and abrupt with my double Sagittarius, it does help me to be more organized. And sometimes I do get anxious when I travel. Moon in my 9th house, this is long distance moves, living abroad and living far from home. So if you do have your moon in the 9th house, it is more of an abroad type living. So if everyone wants to share what your 9th house is now, please go ahead and throw it in the chat. Capricorn and Mercury in my 9th house. Okay, cool. Aquarius, Aries. So we're going to go over what all the 9th house placements means. I'll focus a little bit more on them since it has to do with travel. North Node in my 9th, so Pisces, Aries, Pisces. Awesome. Scorpio and Aries, 4th house, Aries, 9th Virgo. Cool. Yeah, you're the same as me. Yeah, Sandra, we're the same. Libra. Awesome. Okay. What does that mean if we have these planets and astrological signs in our 9th house? And again, take what resonates with you, discard the rest, where, we have so many complexities to us. It's not totally exact. This is just a nice little broad overview. And it's also nice to look at your 4th house and 9th house before we pull up the chart with all of those crazy lines, because that's going to give you a deeper understanding of your house placements. Oh, Sag in the 9th house. Oh, you must like to travel. Cancer in the 9th house, going by water. So Libra, Mercury, Mars. Wow, so many planets. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and go over what all these mean. If you have Aries or Mars in your 9th house, these can be shorter trips, but longer distances. Aries is a more impulsive energy. I think of like get up and travel, like get up and go. Aries in your 9th house is you need new and exciting change. You need to change things up in your life. You need to find something new, initiate something. It's about taking action or doing an activity when you travel. Maybe when you go, you really want to get into surfing. So there's some sort of activity related to travel and taking action and initiative. Taurus and Venus in the 9th house is a more chill travel experience. And trust me, it doesn't mean you can't go surfing, but it just means going long distances for a longer period of time and taking your time when you travel. It's really nice for you to feel into the energy of a culture at least a month and not feel too rushed, making sure you feel comfortable in your home environment, traveling to nature, pretty places, surroundings. It can even be traveling for money or to make money or good fortune. Just because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet or the goddess of like love and beauty and art. So nice and aesthetically pleasing places are always nice for Taurus, and also Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So Gemini and Mercury, this is traveling for education. You're going to travel to learn something. There's a lot of happenings around you, a lot of stuff going on when you travel. And moving around a lot. If you have these placements, you might not just want to sit on a beach for 7 days. That can be nice for a few hours for you, but you want to see everything. If you're going to go to Portugal, I'm in Portugal now, you're going to want to go to Porto and Lisbon and the south and the Algarve and Ericeira. Like you're going to want to really see and travel a lot. And also, guys, make sure to take a look at other placements in your chart as well. Sun, moon, and rising. Cancer or the moon. Cancer and moon travel to rivers, streams, forests. This is about feeling comfortable, cozy, and safe. Stay in a place that feels like home, and it's also going for a longer period of time. If you have your moon in the ninth house, especially, this is long distance moves, living abroad or living far from home. I also have my moon in the ninth house, and I have been living pretty far from home for a pretty long time. Leo and Sun, travel for fun, romance, night on the town, play, restaurants, dancing, meeting people, romantic partner. Again, if you don't have any Leo or Sun in the ninth house, it does not mean that this is not going to happen to you. It's just more heightened in the ninth house. And the Sun in the ninth house is travel is your identity and experiences and getting yourself out there. So if you have the Sun in the ninth house, keep that in mind. Really shining and letting yourself be seen. Virgo or Mercury, we've already talked about this one, travel for healing, certification, really just taking your time to plan out a few things, and travel might make you a little bit anxious. You can also travel for work. Libra or Venus, traveling in partnership or with someone else. This placement can be like you meet somebody and they live in Spain, and then you might go to like relocate to Spain. I don't know if that has happened with anybody with this placement. Also traveling in a community, like outside, it might be really nice for you to be around people, be around like-minded people, and also traveling to places that are beautiful, harmonious, and nice architecture. Scorpio and Pluto, travel brings intense soul-searching experiences. I even think that this happens even if you don't have these placements. Raise of hands. I've had very intense soul-searching experiences without Scorpio and Pluto, but the energy is just stronger with these placements in the ninth house. It can be traveling alone to find yourself, traveling for a purpose, and these just deep changing experiences, but it can also bring about a fear of travel as well. Sag or Jupiter loves to travel long distances. You love to travel. You might even travel for higher education to meet a teacher or spiritual purposes. You're really broadening your horizons. You're learning through different cultures and experiences. So it can even be going to more off the beaten path places. Capricorn and Saturn is traveling a little bit later in life, but you're traveling for work, traveling for education, or having a reason to travel. Aquarius and Uranus, your traveling is very impulsive for you. Change things up, gain freedom, expect the unexpected when you travel. Things do not always go as planned when you have this placement. Very quick to initiate travel. Also, when we pull up our map, if we have any Uranus lines going through, those are the places that we're going to change things, change it up in our lives, and expect the unexpected. Pisces and Neptune, we're traveling to escape reality, kind of just to remove yourself, to retreat, to relax. You can be traveling to islands, very deep spiritual experiences, and traveling to water. Your North Node, you're traveling for deep spiritual learnings to expand your knowledge and your understanding of the world. Travel does play a really big role in your life if you do have your North Node in the ninth house. And again, this is kind of similar to Sag at different cultures and stepping out of your comfort zone. It also rules any sort of public speaking, communicating, and publishing. Lilith, which is a dark comet, is you might travel to rebel. You question things. You're finding your own philosophy in life. There could have been a power struggle from what you were taught at birth versus now. So you're here to uncover your own meaning in life, but you're doing that through your international travels. So I know this is a lot of information. Bear with me. We are going to get into the fun part of pulling up our charts, but I just think it's so important to look at our natal charts. And the best thing you can do before even pulling up that crazy map with the lines is to really study and look into your fourth house, your ninth house, and really understand the energies that you're working with, even with your sun, moon, and rising. And this is going to give you a better resonance for when you pull up the map with all the crazy lines. Any questions so far? We're going to keep going because there's a lot more. Now from here, now that you know your placements, we are going to talk about the lines and astrocartography and how to read the map. So the next website that we are going to pull up is astro.com, and I can help you of how to find this map. So if everybody goes to astro.com, thank you so much for sharing it, Christina. At the top in the left-hand corner, you're going to see horoscopes. Everybody click horoscopes, and then you're going to go down to the travel. So I'm actually just going to share it with you. So let me stop sharing for one quick second, because I want to make sure you guys can all see what I'm seeing. So I'm going to go to astro.com. So this is going to be easier for you all. Okay, so I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay, so we should all just be on astro.com, and under horoscopes, click right here. You should see locational astrology all the way here, and just click Astro Click Travel. Once we click Astro Click Travel, you click add, and then you add in your birth information. So I already have my information here. So is everyone okay with that? So you go to AstroClick Travel, click add, and then just add in your birth information, and then the map should pull up for you. And then we're going to go back to, feel free to throw it in the chat if you need any help. And once we all have this up, then we're good to go. All right, so we went over the house placements, what they mean, how to kind of read the energies. Now we're going to go into the lines. Let's see. Where do you go from astro.com? Okay, so after astro.com, you click horoscopes, and then you click AstroClick Travel. Once you click AstroClick Travel, you should be able to pull up this map, and you click add, and then you can add in your birth information. All right. We're going to reshare. Okay, so what are these lines? I know it's overwhelming. Each line links up with a certain celestial body that brings certain qualities like love, creativity, and growth within up to 700 miles, which is a couple hundred kilometers, I believe, of that line. So keep in mind, every planet has a dark or light potential energy. It just also depends on the aspects of your personal chart. And this is something that we go over a little bit more deeply if we were to have a reading together. So to get an idea of what you're seeking out, we're going to go over the energy that each planet brings out, because those lines, those are different planets. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the planets. So you're going to see the sun. It looks like the little dot. It's, I believe it's orange placement. If you see a sun line, this is excitement, passion, interest, focus, creativity, expressiveness, your outer awareness, goals, achievement. This is who you are and how you're seen by others. It's actually a place for ambition, public life, a good career, start a business, become an entrepreneur, maybe even an actor, because it's about being seen. Now, I do want to talk about something, and I talk about this more if we were to do an in-person reading, but everyone has a day chart and a night chart. Now, if you're a daytime chart, which we can go over how to pull that up, but if you're a daytime chart, then, or if you're born in the morning, Jupiter is more, I guess, like feel good for you. If you're born at night, Venus is more feel good. This is just very brief. We go over this more deeply in a session together. If you're born at night, Saturn is more challenging. If you're born in the morning, Mars is more challenging. But again, don't even really totally worry about that right now. I think it's best just to go over the energies of the lines. Now we have the moon. The moon is our heightened emotions, intuition, our home, belonging, receptiveness, our inner awareness. It's a nurturing, comforting energy. We might feel at home on our moon line, but I also think it's important to look at what our moon placement is in as well. It's more of a feminine, which just means inwards energy, your emotions. It can also be aligned to have children, become a healer or a caretaker. Mercury, communicating, Virgo and Gemini energy. Communicating, writing, teaching, speaking, learning, your mind, your mental state. It's a youthful energy, endless curiosity. This is a great line to go to write a blog, start a book, if you want to do marketing or commerce or sell something online. It's also a quick energy. So when you're on your Mercury lines, you might feel like you're moving around a lot. And this line should look like it's lime green. Moon is blue. Venus, I get all the time, where can I find love? It's on your Venus line. It doesn't mean you can't find love on other lines, which we will go over, but Venus, love, partnership, beauty, marriage, art, beautiful things, simple joys in life. The downside, feeling a little bit lazy or overindulging, material and interpersonal enjoyment. It's a very attractive energy. It rules on Libra and Taurus. So this can be a place for relationships or partnerships. It can be family, your close friends, business partners, romantic partners, also a place to attract money, start a fashion line, just working in the arts or the beauty related industry in general. Mars, oh, by the way, Venus is dark green. Mars is red. Mars is a little bit more of a difficult planet. It brings about frustration, a little bit of anger. However, it's a planet of ambition, motivation to initiate something. It does give you drive, passion. There's a lot of energy on a Mars line. It can be a difficult or hard planet but however, if we do a session together and you do have like very strong Mars in your chart, or like maybe your moon is in Mars, it can be more of a familiar energy for you. Maybe if you're a fitness instructor, military leader, or major boss or director, it brings about that like huge ambition and motivation and like go, go, go type of vibe. Also on our Mars lines, we might be more active. All right. Jupiter, this is that like fuchsia pink looking color line. This is a very favorable line. It does rule Sagittarius, and it's opportunities, adventure, good luck, good fortune, abundance, blessings. You can be a teacher. We like to travel to these lines. It gives us life experience and a lot of wisdom. It can also expand on things in your life, such as abundance, wealth, your career. Downside can be a little self-indulgent because life is so good, which we'll talk about deeper. Saturn, this is that maroon color line. This one is a little bit harder to live on as well, but depending on aspects of your chart, it can be favorable. It does give restriction, order, delay, discipline, determination, and hard work, challenges, responsibility. You must be willing to solve karma on this line. It's also about creating structure. You are put to work and you will grow spiritually on this line. It can just be difficult and uncomfortable for a very long time. I know somebody who's been living on their Saturn line for 15 years and it just has never felt like home for them. And they feel like they're working hard all the time. So just keep that in mind with Saturn. Uranus is the light blue line. This is if we want to change something up in our lives, we go to this line. It gives us rebellion, surprises, action, new structures, change. It's very, very stimulating. Just moved away from my Saturn line, thank goodness. Yes, I'm sure you were probably feeling it. Uranus is in this electric energy. It could be very fun because it's stimulating. I actually live kind of near my Uranus line right now. You might feel like you have a lot of ideas. The only thing is if you can start to feel restless over a long period of time on this line. It just has more of like a little restless feel. But it also, depending on your house placements, if you have fourth house in Uranus or Aquarius, or maybe your moon, it might be more of a familiar energy for you. Neptune, ruled by Pisces, spiritual, unseen mysteries of life. This is a purple line, becoming a spiritual teacher. However, we tend to wear rose-colored glasses on this line. So make sure to take off the rose-colored glasses if you're on a Neptune line. It can be deceptive, a little hazier, dreamy, intoxicating, harder to find clarity. It's hard to work on a Neptune line. Many people may start to over party, but just depends on how you channel this energy. If you're a spiritual teacher, an artist, photographer, maybe even a filmmaker, you can channel the energy really well. It's going to give you this huge bout of creativity, but just focusing on like a day job can be very, very difficult. Pluto, another kind of challenging line. This is a black line. This has to do with death, transformation, rebirth, shocking events. This is your dark side. It's a psychological, intense energy. It can be hard. It can be challenging. It's here to shake things up. It brings focus, discernment. It does help you become empowered and a new person. We think of like shedding this old skin and rebirthing, but it's going to force you to look at your shadow side and eliminate deep emotional attachments. It can be difficult to live here because it's very intense. I do know people who are like, I lived in this line and it was crazy. And I also had readings for people who were like, I'm going to actually go to my Pluto line to have this transformational experience. So again, use your intuition, but it does bring about this deep, deep transformation. Then there's also Chiron. It's also a black line. It looks like a little key. This is Chiron line is my Pluto's next to my Venus line. Yeah, you're going to notice that some of the energies will overlap. Like I've even done readings where people have overlapped their Jupiter and their Saturn, which just kind of dilutes the energy because they're so drastic. Your Venus line, you might even find a lot of transformation about relationships around your Venus line and Pluto. And not that it all has to be bad. It can give you like deep insights. It can also feel like if you're near a Venus or Pluto line, like you're rebirthing into a new person and can bring somebody new into your life. So there's a lot of different energies that play with that. Chiron, healing wounds, finding redemption, rejuvenation. This is called the wounded healer. It goes into your wounds. It can feel awkward or uncomfortable on this line. It teaches you what you need to learn. Many healers might travel to their Chiron line. I also live near mine right now. I will say this too. I did a reading with somebody who had their moon line and their Chiron line crossing. They flew to that country after a breakup, did not even know that that was their line. And now they're thriving in that country. They're healing. I mean, I'm sure it's not always easy, but they're healing. They have a new partner. That country, because of their moon line, has more of a home feeling for them. So it's not that these are all like bad. Like we can also grow and evolve in such amazing ways on these lines. Also, our nodal lines on the astro.com, it's only your north node line that it shows. This gives you strange synchronistic occurrences, fated events that transform your life, throw you on a new path. I lived on these lines twice, which we will definitely talk about. New beginnings, surrender, feelings of deja vu, like you've been there before, past life connections, karmic lessons. And why I like to look at the house placements too is because my 4th house is in the North Node, it has more of a home feeling when I'm on my North Node line. So also keep that in mind depending on what your 4th house placement is. But if you're looking to make a major transformation, jump into the node, the North Node line is the best bet to do it. And it's funny enough, when I made my most transformative move, it was on my North Node line, and it happened twice. So we can definitely chat a little bit about that. Okay, we're going to take a step back. We went over the 4th house. We went over, which is your home, which also means your IC. We went over the 9th house, which is foreign travel. And then we just went over what each one of those lines on your astro map means. There's one more part that we have to look into. Now, when you pull up that crazy map, you're going to see the planet, and you're going to see AC, DC, MC, or IC. It also might say AS, DS, or MS. It means the same exact thing. So these all have different meanings, and these influence the planets in different ways. And I'm going to give you some examples, and we're also going to share some maps and go over exactly what I mean by this. These are cardinal points. There are 4 points that are used in astrocartography. They represent each planet's energy, but with a slight twist. So we have the MC, the midheaven, lower midheaven, the IC, point of ascendant, AC, point of descendant, the DC. So it kind of looks like this. Like, this is not really important, but I'm just kind of showing you what, it looks like on your chart. So even if you have this circle pulled up, we have the IC, which is the 4th house, opposite is MC. We have the AC, which is ascendant, opposite is DC. Don't need to really memorize that. Just wanted to kind of just give you a little picture. So what does this mean? Say we have the sun in the AC, or we have the sun in the DC. It kind of influences it in a minor, like I said, little twist. AC or AS, this is your ascendant. It also represents your rising sign. This is you. This is your sense of self, your appearance, vitality, its energy, and how you come across, and the energy that you really project out in the world. This is a way which you're perceived by others, maybe on first impression. It's just really your identity and your personality. It also rules body image, self-confidence, and self-interest. So in simpler terms, AC is you. It has to do with you. Now, DC is the opposite, or DS is the opposite. This is about other people around you. This is, what do you want to learn from others? It has to do with marriage, personal relationships, friendships, business partners, family, relationships to clients. So while the AS is you, the DS is those around you. So maybe you have the sun in the DS. The sun can highlight your friendships. Maybe you have Jupiter in the DS. The Jupiter can give you more abundance in friendships or partnerships or a romantic partnership. So that, or if it's Jupiter's in your AS or AC, that's going to give you abundance within yourself. Maybe you feel more confident. It's going to give you good luck and good fortune. So that's kind of how you kind of can twist and make it a little bit more specific based on the planet and what the other planet placement is. MC, this is your influence on society, your career life, success, being in the public eye, your reputation, your presence out in the world. So it does have to do with work and career. It can just be your ambitions, your public image. So let's say your sun is in the MC. So your sun is going to shine on your career. You're going to be seen by others. Versus the IC, which is the opposite. This is a homey feeling. This is more your private life, your family, your parents, your personal life in general. You might have a sense of home and belonging on your IC line and your roots. So just keep that in mind, especially if like moon in the IC, that can just be a place where you feel grounded and you feel more connected to. Does that kind of make sense so far? I will go ahead and give you examples, and then we're gonna take some moment and I'm gonna pull up some of your charts and I can do like a quick look. But any questions so far? I tried to break this up in a few different areas so that we can kind of combine it together. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Can you see the DC line again? Absolutely. So DC, when we think of DC, we think of the opposite of our ascendant. So our ascendant is who we are. It's our personality. DC is those around us. It's our family, partnerships, marriage, business partners, loved ones, personal relationships. Do the lines change position in time? No, the lines do not change based off of your chart. So if I look at my chart again in 3 years, it's going to look the same. Is there some sort of meeting on the location where all of the lines intersect? Okay, so we're going to go over that too. If you see like 5 different lines intersecting, that's just a lot of energy. My teacher has told me that if there's more than 2 lines, or there's like 2 or like 3 or more, it just starts to be a little bit overwhelming. So don't think you have to go to that line. If it's like, you might see it like more like up top. Like I think I have a lot going on in like Iceland or like the Nordic country, like very, very north of the Nordic. Does not mean we have to go there to like experience it all at once. It can kind of just be too much. Oh, it's Alaska. Yeah, you'll notice it more on like very, very north, like almost like near the North Pole or like the South Pole. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll give you some examples. Oh, here's just some additional information. If there's no lines or going through, it's just neutral. It doesn't mean you can't go there and love it and thrive. Let me just double check questions. Does, for example, Uranus and ascendant mean you're going to change a lot? It can change. If you go to your ascendant line in Uranus, it's like expect the unexpected, like within yourself. You can expect change, you can expect excitement, you can expect like brilliant ideas and energy. I'm actually living near my Uranus line right now. I think mine's in the MC, but we can go over deeper when I give examples too. But don't worry if there's any neutral, if it's neutral. I also tell everybody that I work with that all of the countries, regardless of lines, have their own resonance, and you're going to feel the energy when you're in the country. So if you have a sun line going through California, it's going to feel, you know, when you go to, I don't know, let's say like what's another place, Italy, you're going to feel a difference, right? But it's just going to highlight certain aspects of the sun sign. So always use your intuition. And I personally went to Nicaragua last year and I just fell in love with it. And I do not have any lines going through. I'm not living there full time, but like I'm planning on going back. So I even suggest people to go live on neutral lines sometimes because it's a little bit more, you know. Can you tell me if should I move from romance? Yeah, we can, I'm going to share information. If you do want to book a reading at the end of this, we would have to go into that more deeply. Let's go. Okay, so closer to the line, the more you're going to feel it. Circle or dot, you're going to feel it the most. So if you see that dot or that big circle, that's where the energy is the strongest. Sometimes it's the middle of the ocean. Don't worry. If you're an artist or creative person and you're looking for financial exposure, launch a business, succeed in endeavors, good luck and blessings, you can travel to your Sun MS or MC line, Jupiter MS line, or Venus DS line. One of the strongest lines for partnerships too is Venus DS. I also put here Jupiter, Venus, or Moon DS lines are very strong partnership. I have also met partners before on my IC line. My North node line in the IC, or a nodal line. And then, yeah, what I put down here is several lines intersecting, a lot of energy all at once for a person to handle. So travel to 1 or 2 supportive lines if you want to live on that. Does Uranus, Neptune, Lilith, North node in ascendant Sag mean I should go live there? Oh yeah, okay, great. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We can talk about that later too. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of how I read my own chart, and then we'll pull up a few of your charts as well. I'm just making sure we're okay with time. Okay, so, and this is going to give you kind of insight of how to read it. All right, so I have this nodal line in the IC. It is going through Santiago, Chile. And right here, here's Santiago. I'm going to feel it there. I'm going to feel the energy in Chile. When I made my nomad move, I flew to Santiago to live, and it completely changed my life. Now, I also have my 4th house, which is IC in my North node. So I literally flew to my 4th house, North node line. We go to North node lines to change things up in our lives, to put us on a completely new path. And that for me was in Santiago, Chile. I did have an amazing experience when I was here. We would have to look at how this is aspected in your chart, but my nodal line in the IC it felt like home. Now I'm in Lisbon, Portugal. I have a lot of lines going through here. I guess we can start with the Chiron line in the IC. Healing, redemption, rejuvenation. I have been going through a lot of healing when I've been here. So much healing. on a very personal level. So it's definitely giving me that. It's also giving me this Uranus in the MC. So MC does highlight my career. So expect the unexpected, change and excitement. I've gotten work since I've been out here. I've had new opportunities. I've had things leave and I've had new things come in. So it's definitely expect the unexpected. But what's been really helpful for me living here is I have Jupiter in the AS and my ascendant is actually in Jupiter. I'm a double Sag, my sun and my ascendant's in Jupiter. So for me to be on a Jupiter line, and Jupiter in general for all of you is really great as well, because it gives you abundance, good luck, and good fortune. So you start to feel the different mix of the energy. So while it's not all candles and sandals here, and I have a lot of healing, it's also giving me a lot of good luck. I do want to say here too, just because we see a Venus line in the DS, it does mean love for sure. I did go to Greece. I haven't found love there, at least not yet. Maybe I should go back. But I did travel here with my mom, which I thought was interesting. I've been here with my mom twice. So DS does have to do with family as well. One other piece of advice I think it's important to share. You might notice that some of the lines that go through countries, you might have friends who are from that place. And I'll give you another example. I have my Jupiter line going through Liverpool in the UK. One of my best friends just happens to be from Liverpool. I most likely won't live there, but one of my best friends is from there. So something to look at with your charts. I was born in Miami. I have my moon placement. I'll kind of go through this a little bit quicker so we have time to do some chart readings. Again, I have my IC line. I also moved to Colombia right before COVID happened. Definitely changed the course of my life 100%. When I was younger, I've had this like deep affinity with Ecuador. I haven't been there yet, but I do have my moon line going through. Maybe it would even highlight work for me. Maybe I go there for a retreat. New Orleans, I haven't been, but I have my wounded healer, my wounded warrior going through. So in my relationship sector, so if I go there and spend a long period of time, it might help me heal from any past relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can also be through like parents, caretakers, siblings, or friends. Here's some not so great lines. Just to give you an example, I have lived in LA. I do have my Aries sign in the IC, so it is a little bit easier for me to live on Mars. But I had a very hard work I worked for a movie studio. It was very intense. And that was all on my Mars line. I don't regret a single day living in LA, but it wasn't a long-term spot for me. I have yet to be to Iceland. If I live there, a lot of Saturn, and I've yet to be in Ireland, but I have more Mars and healing. So a lot might happen for me in Ireland. So I do want to just show you a few examples. All right. I made sure we have 8 minutes left. Here's the fun part. And maybe Christina, you can help me with this. Is DSAS same as DC in AC? Yes, it is. It is. It's the same thing, just to keep that in mind. Christina, maybe you can help me, but I would love to stop sharing my screen. And if anybody is interested, I will, if you want to share you pick a continent or pick a place, and I'll go ahead and tell you what the lines mean. So does anyone want to start?
I see some people raising their hands. We have Julia and Mohanan. So
Great.
we'll
start
there. Start
yes.
there.
The pink line is Jupiter. Yeah. So okay, Julia, go ahead and we'll give Julia permission. And Julia, if you want to share your screen with us, pop on in. I think, is that possible to do that? I'm not sure.
I actually don't think, unless yeah, let me make her a panelist, I think.
We might have to make some people panelists for the last 5 minutes.
Leah, you have officially been promoted. So I think she's going to be rejoining. Perfect. I see her there.
Hi.
Okay, I will quickly share my screen so we can have time for someone else.
Yeah, so yeah, share your screen and pull up which continent that you're interested in. We'll do a quick lightning
I just
reading.
want to make sure that you can see it.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay, maybe we'll go to the European continent, somewhere here.
So what you can do is if you scroll up a little bit, so scroll all the way up, and underneath your name, you can, where it says scalable map, click that arrow, and then there we go, click here up. And where are you located right now, Julia?
In Canada, in British Columbia. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, you have some nice energy going on in Europe. Okay. So what is your sun sign?
Cancer.
And what is your fourth house?
Fourth house is Leo.
Oh, Leo. Okay, the sun. So the sun will actually be pretty nice for you. I don't know if you've ever spent time going to London or France, Paris, even the south of France. There's a very strong resonance with the south of France, I feel, just because you have your sun line in the AC, your ascendant, you'll feel bright. You might feel just like expansive. You also have your Mercury line. I can't see what is your Mercury line in? If you scroll down, light blue is Uranus. I just was answering someone. Oh yeah. Okay, so your Mercury line, if you go to London, if you go to France, if you go to Sardinia, the island, you're going to be moving around a lot and seeing things. This is also a really nice line for you to write a book or start a blog, have any mental stimulation. But mixed in with that nice Jupiter energy in your IC, it might feel like home. It's going to give you abundance, expansion, good fortune. And that line is going through Norway, Denmark, Germany, and parts of Italy. So you're definitely going to feel it. And Barcelona, expect the unexpected when you're there. It's going to be full of change and surprises. It might be a little bit harder to work on because you have that Neptune line. It's in your DS, so just be mindful of people around you, and just being mindful of any like haziness around that.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Who wants to go next? We probably have time for, I would say, 2 more, and then I'm going to share more information with you of how we can do more in-depth readings together. These are like the speed fire. When we're together though, they're more detailed.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So I'm a Sagittarius. The 4th is in Libra and the
Cool.
9th is in Pisces.
Awesome.
And let me share my screen. 1 second.
All right.
Oh, there's a lot of options here. Desktop 1, desktop 2. Okay, let's try one of okay.
You sound like me. I always have a million tabs open.
Yeah, and I need to give it security permission. So Zoom US. There we go.
Perfect. And I'm also just throwing my information to the chat. I see some people have to leave earlier. If you have to leave, if you're interested in a reading, use the code OUTSITE. And I'll just throw my website, you get a discount.
Okay.
But we'll go over that at the end as well.
So I'm not sure what you guys are seeing.
We just have to see the world map of astro.com.
Can you see it now?
Yes, perfect. And then at the top, pick which continent you want to quickly look at.
Where do I select that?
Up a little bit higher, right underneath your name where it says, yeah.
So like, where do I want to live?
Which continent do you want to quickly look at right now?
Yes. So let's say North America.
Okay, great. Where are you located?
Right now I'm a digital nomad, but I'm currently in the Bay Area in
Oh,
Santa Cruz.
that's actually a nice area for you. You have your sun in the MC, which highlights your career and your passion. And it's also mixed in with your nodal line, so it can put you on a new path in your life. I almost feel like is that when you decided to be a nomad, or it's gonna like prompt you, or you're gonna meet somebody and like become a nomad somewhere else.
Yeah, so it's kind
of
so my story is kind of crazy. I moved 5 years ago from Jordan, 2 years in San Jose, 1 year in San Francisco, 1 year in LA, and I moved for someone else. Then and now I started like this traveling around, and now like I'm considering going back to San Jose area or not. So
yeah, San Jose is nice for you. It's going to definitely put you on a new path in your life. I feel like that huge move definitely did it, because you literally moved to your sun line and your north node line, mixed in a little bit with LA of the moon, highlighting your career, but definitely helped with your career in a sense, and feel like it gave you connections and put you on a new path. So you're definitely in a really good spot right now.
yeah, I moved there for my career, so that makes sense.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I don't know if we have enough time for one more, but I'm going to reshare my screen, and then maybe we can do one more at the end.
Perfect.
How do I get out? Okay.
All right. So yeah, let's go ahead. I think, can you see this? Am I sharing now? Okay, so if anybody would like a reading, let's do it together. If you're in here in person, if you're in Lisbon, reach out. We can do it in person. It's really, really fun. I also like pull cards into it. And when we do our readings together, I do use intuition. Like any intuitive guidance. Happy to share any resources with you that I have used as a nomad over time. And also Outsite, if you're not a member yet, Outsite has just been such a great way for me to travel. And I've also been able to link back Outsite places in my astrocartography map for where I stayed. So definitely look into becoming an Outsite member because it's made my traveling so much more enjoyable and it's given me so many amazing experiences. But let's connect. Come say hi. Here's my information. I just wanted to make sure I got you guys all out on time. And connect on Instagram. Come say hi. Reach out. Let's do a fun reading together. And I hope you guys really enjoyed it. So thank you. I know it's so much information, but I just want to thank you guys for showing up and being so open to, hearing more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when people think about astrocartography and astrology, it's very more like fluff and whatever. But like when you get into the workshop, you realize, wow, there's so much information and how they all link together. So I highly recommend to everyone, definitely do the reading with Natalie. I think I've done it at least one time, and I always do card readings with her separately. So I highly recommend those as well. And if you're in Lisbon, I think Natalie's going to be doing this IRL at our co-work cafe later this month. So also a great connection point as well. And thank you, Natalie, so much for sharing with us. Super informative.
Of course. And everyone just have fun with it. Do deep dives. I'm still learning so much. Like there's so many layers to astrology that, even that you mentioned, Christina. So just have so much fun, dissect your chart, read about it. And I think it'll be really cool what you uncover. But thank you guys. And thank you guys so much for joining, for having me.
All right, everyone, we'll see you next time, and we'll send a follow-up email with this recording so you guys all have it handy so you can go back and reference it. All right, everyone, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you.